everybody, this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. We're back and we're going to see how far we can get making some pages for this album. I'm building on to the base pages that we made in my first video, and I'll put a link down below for that if you haven't seen it. We're using Bountiful Blessings from Country Craft Creations. This is an exclusive collection, and what we're doing is we're creating, or should I say recreating, an album that I made a long time ago before I was a designer, but I have revised it and updated it, and we are making it all brand new. So I've done the video for the base pages, and we're adding on to those base pages now. So if you're watching this, I've already done the base page part. So we're going to create the pieces that go on them. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll see how far we get. I'm kind of, like I said in the video before, I've been a little bit under the weather. So, yeah, we'll see how far we get. Okay, so to build on base page 1, which we have already done, we've made this page. So if you grab your pages, you should have a pocket that has like an L shape on the front, the bindings on this side, and then the back is blank. And then I showed you about the template. And again, this is in the other video on how we're going to cut the pattern paper, but we're not doing that yet because we have to put the pieces on first. Okay, so in order to build onto this first page, on the front of this page, we are going to need a piece of 12 by 12 paper, and you will need one magnet for this. Okay, so I'm going to put the magnet off to the side. We have our 12 by 12 piece of paper, and what you're going to do with this is the first thing you're going to do is cut off the bottom 4.5 inch piece. Okay, and then when you do that, when you take that bottom off, then you'll have this top portion that's 7.5 by 12, and you will cut this down at 6.5. So you'll end up with a page that's 6.5 by 7.5. You'll have a page that's 5.5 by 7.5. And then out of this bottom piece, we're going to cut a piece that's 7.5 by 4.5, and that's going to be a third page. And then we're going to use this piece in the corner that we'll have left over and cut a 4.5 by 2.25 piece of paper. Okay, now I will go ahead and do diagrams again on Google Docs for you for this. So you'll have the instructions as well. So when you do that and get it all done, I'm going to show you what you'll end up with. So you'll have this piece here, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch because it's going to be a page. You'll have a piece here. You'll score that at 1/2 inch. That's going to be a second page. This one down here will score on the 7.5 at 1/2 inch. Okay, that's going to be a page. And then this is the leftover piece, but then you'll use that piece with a 1/2 inch score. Okay, let me show you how this all goes together. This little piece here is going to be the closure, and then you have this piece left over. You can use it for something else. So I'm going to just put that off to the side. We're keeping all of our extra pieces because you can use those for mats, you can use it for tags, whatever. Okay, so again, all of these diagrams, I'll go through them on air, but I will have a Google Doc for what we go through in this video that you can go ahead, and I'll put the link down below so you can get it. And when I write this part down, this is going to go, like I said, on the front of base page 1, and the front has the L-shaped pocket. It's going to adhere to the right side of the page, so it's going to adhere right to this pocket. That's why you don't want to put your pattern papers on first, because we're building onto these pages, and then we'll put the pattern papers on, and that'll hide all the tags. Okay, and then we're going to have a magnet closure, and there's only one magnet closure in this whole entire album. Okay, so I'll put that off to the side, and we'll grab our pages, and again, all of these are going to be scored at 1/2 inch. So we need to fold and burnish and miter our corners, and I failed to prep that before I did this. So let's go ahead and we will miter all of the 1/2 inch scores. Okay, so all of the tall pages have a 1/2 inch score. because we're going to create a stacked, kind of staggered waterfall on these. Let's get those out of the way. Fold and burnish. I hope you're enjoying this album so far. I really think this is going to be fun. I did have one comment or question that they were saying that they could only get the 8x8 paper pack. If you get an 8x8 paper pack, you're probably going to need 2 of them to cover this album because it does have a lot of pages. Now, that being said, as you watch me put this together, you can add as many add-on pages as you want or not. So that's totally up to you. So watch how I'm doing this and see how it goes. If you want to add all the pages that I'm adding, feel free. If you want to not, because some of them, well, they all have 3 add-ons that we're going to add. So let's put it that way. It's, like I said, I warned you guys, this is going to be a big book. So I am going to create a tag shape for this because I feel like it. You don't have to. You can go ahead and round the corners as well. You can round the corners to these pages as well. You don't have to do that right this second. But eventually you will have to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to stack these pages and glue them down. And they're going to go in order. So the largest on the bottom. And then I'm just going to line this up right to the edge and glue that on to create the booklet. And it will go the other direction. I'm just doing this so I can see it better right now. Okay. All right. So just make sure they're nice and lined up and straight. Grab that second piece, or the third piece, I should say. So this is the one we cut out of the bottom. And we're going to go ahead and glue that down. All right. Like so. And let me grab my wipe. Make sure my pages aren't glued together. So you're just making a little stacked page assembly that will have waterfalls on it. So like a waterfall page, okay? So if we grab our page, this again is going to adhere to the right. So I'm actually going to take the tab and I'm going to glue it right here to the edge. I'm going to take that fuzzy off of it. And turn it so I can see it. So I'm going to go to the right side of the page, right to the edge, line it up top to bottom, make sure it's nice and straight. Okay. And open that up, and you can see that tab is glued right on top of that pocket. Okay. So that's why we're not using our pattern paper. All right. So this one is going to glue right to this pocket right here, or not to the pocket, to the page. So we just put down that 3-page assembly. We're going to glue it right to the middle there. We're going to center that. So when we use our centering ruler, our center will be at 3 3/4. All right. And this is 2 1/4, right? 2 1/4. Oh my goodness, guys. So it will be 1 1/8 from the center point. And I'm just going to lay that down, 1 1/8, right in the center. Okay. And that's going to, you know, just close all of the pages on top of the pocket like so. Okay, so I'm going to grab my magnet here and take off the little adhesive piece and put that right there. Take off this adhesive piece and close it. And set it, and then you'll have your magnet set. And remember, there's only one magnet in this whole piece. So I'm just going to add a little piece of tape here for now. And the front of page 1 is done. So you'll have your 3-page waterfall kind of stacked pocket there, and then it'll open up. You'll have this page here and then your L pocket here underneath. Okay, so now we're going to build onto the back. All right, so to start, we're going to make 2 pieces that are going to go onto the back of page 1, the base page 1. So this will again adhere onto that back of the page, and this one is going to go on the left side of the page. So we're going to make 2 pieces. So bear with me for just a second. We're going to explain this. So first thing you want to do is cut off the bottom 3.5 inches. Okay, and then you're going to take the top part here. We're going to pretend that this bottom piece is gone. And let me just fold that under so we don't see it. Okay, so we've cut off that bottom piece, and then we're going to score as shown here. So we're going to score at 1/2 and 7. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to score at 1/2 and 8. Okay, so that's all the scoring that you have to do, but then you do have to cut it. So we're going to put it in our cutter, and you're going to cut it down at 6.5. Okay, all the way down, you'll cut it at 6.5. Okay, you'll end up with 2 pieces. So when you get done with that, you're going to take, this one piece here, and we'll trim off 1 inch to make it this size. Okay, so since you have the scores, we'll just cut those scores completely off of that piece. On this side here, once you cut that piece apart and trim the tops, you're going to have 3 scores for pockets. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so again, we're doing the scores first, then you'll cut the paper at 6.5, so you'll end up with a piece that's 8.5 by 6.5 and 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, and then we'll trim the top and bottom scores off of this piece. Okay, and then you'll have trimmed your pieces here, 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 and here. This is going to be a pocket. Okay, so then I took this piece and I used my envelope scoreboard, and I lined up the cut edge here to right in the middle and then punched it to give that nice little file tab shape. Okay, and then I put it so that that cut edge is lined up at the 3, and then I punched it again, and then we're going to trim that off so it makes a file tab shape. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side for just a second, and I will grab my stuff here. I'm kind of making a mess out of my craft room. So you'll end up taking off like a 3/8 inch piece of paper. Okay, so I'm lining it up on my score, and you can use a trimmer too if you would like. I'm lining it up at this edge here, and I'm lining it down here, and I'm going to put my knife right here, and I'm just going to take that off. Okay, so now I have a file tab piece. And then with our pocket, that's going to lay right on top. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on this. And I'm going to just lay that on top. I'm going to go to the score, and I didn't fold and burnish that, but I will. That will be that 1/2 inch on the other side of this pocket right here, which I should have folded and burnished first, is going to attach to the page. So I apologize for that. We're going to do that. And then I'm going to grab my tape, because I am going to put tape here. I'm not going to put paper all the way down in the pocket because it's hardly going to be seen. So I do want to put some tape down here to go ahead and help the tags and recipe cards slip in and out. All right, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'll glue that down, and that'll create a file folder, like a tab pocket. Now, if you don't want to do the file folder tab edge, you don't have to do that. Totally up to you, your preference. I just thought it was fun. Okay, whoop, there we go. Make sure that's pressed down. Okay, so you have a binding piece here, and then you have your pocket here. All right, so then what we're going to do, this is the 3.5 inch piece that you cut off the bottom. Save that, it's extra. And then we're going to put this off to the side for just a sec, because that's going to go on the very top of the back of this page. So we put our other piece aside, and now what we're going to do is have a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and we're going to do some scoring on this. It's going to be a little creative, because we're trying to create a double pocket on one side, a pocket on the bottom, and then we're going to have this extra piece here that can be for, you know, like a tag or a mat or something like that. Okay, so this is going to go on the back of base page 1. It's going to go under this piece here. That's why we didn't put that on yet. Okay, so I wrote some directions down here. We're going to go through them together, and again, this will be in your guide, so don't worry. You can always rewind this and then get your guide. We're going to score at 1/2 all the way down, score at 7.5 all the way down, okay, and then stop. Turn your piece so that the 1/2 inch mark is at the bottom now, okay. Score at 1/2 all the way down, score at 8 all the way down, and then stop, okay. Go to the 8.5 inch mark, and then what you're going to see, okay, so we have a score line here. I'm just going to score, and this is just for cutting purposes only. I'm just going to score down so that I can create tabs for these pockets here. Okay, this is going to make sense in just a second, I promise. Turn back to the original position, and then go to the 10.5 inch mark, and then you're going to score down to that last score line that we made at the 8.5 inch mark. Okay, so that's just going to give us our little tab pieces here. Okay. And then if you want to do another score line just for cutting purposes, you can turn it completely upside down and go to the 4 inch line and then just connect those scores, okay? Hope that makes sense. When you do that and get it all done, you're going to cut this top piece off and make tabs here. You're going to cut this out and make tabs here, okay? So when you get done, you should have a piece that looks like this. And you're going to have a little slit there that we're going to create. Here's our 1/2 inch marks that we did for cutting purposes, okay? Here is our little piece that we're going to cut out, all right? We're going to save that for tags, okay? So always save your pieces for tags, all right? You're going to miter everything on this page because we're going to add it to the back of our base page. All right, so let's put this off to the side. Let's grab our mat and let's make this page. So we're going to fold and burnish. So this side tab here, if I can get my fingers to work. I'm not doing very well today. I've had a bad headache all day, and I promised I would try to get some of this stuff done. And I'm really trying hard to get this stuff done. So this bottom pocket is going to fold up to the front, like so. Okay, and we're just going to glue that down. Just glue those side tabs. This is one of those pockets that you don't have to worry about the tape trick at the bottom, right? Because we're just folding it up to create the pocket. All right. Then we're going to flip it over, and this will fold over like so. Okay, and then this is going to fold back. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold those tabs in, and they are going to create pockets. Okay, so you'll have a pocket here, and then you'll have a pocket right, you know, here. So we'll fold our tabs into the appropriate positions here. So that'll fold down. That's going to go on the top. These tabs are going to fold to the inside. I told you this book was going to be big. Right? This will hold a lot of memories. And you know, I was thinking, you know, as I was prepping all of these pages for this tutorial, I had like a really cool thought. I thought that, you know, the way that these pages are built, as far as being so interactive, this could actually be like a Thanksgiving, like 5-year kind of almost like a December daily, except it could be like a Thanksgiving one. So every page could be a year. There's so many places to put things that you could put like all the recipes. You could take pictures of all the years, all that stuff. I thought it would be kind of fun to do. Okay, so we have this pocket page built. We have our file tab page built, and I am going to miter those corners here real quick so that we could adhere them down. Okay, and this is going to set right on top of this pocket, and you're probably thinking, how am I going to do that? Well, what we're going to do is this pocket here, let's see, if we measure it, it measures 4 inches. So we're going to go with our pencil here, if I can find it. I had my desk organized until I started creating, and then all of a sudden, like, it's not organized anymore. So 4 inches from the bottom is how big our pocket's going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the page tab that's going to glue down at the 4-inch mark. I'm going to draw a little line, and then I'm going to notch that just like I was going to make a tab. Okay, so I'm going to just cut, you know, miter that out. Okay, and then that should, if we dry fit that onto the page, make sure that you have your binding piece to the right. Okay, when you lay that down and glue that down, if we dry fit it, it should fit right over the pocket so that you can have the full use of the pocket, and then the pattern paper will cover all of that up. Okay, so let's do it, because I just looked at it. We just dry fit it, and it looked like it worked pretty perfectly. Do dry fit, okay? Make sure that you cut your little notch out before you lay it down. Okay, right to the edge, like so. Open that up, and then you can see, I hope you can see, wipe that glue up real quick. You can see that it's notched so that the pocket completely opens. It doesn't glue that side of the pocket shut. Okay, and again, the pattern paper that we use is going to cover that up. All right, so now you have that. So let's grab, this is the base page 1. We've already put the front piece on. Okay, we're going to turn it over. This is going to adhere right to the edge of that page. So we're just going to grab our glue. And lay that down right to the edge, top to bottom. This will be a thick page. Yes, it will. We're not going to use a lot of dimensional stuff to decorate inside this book. We are going to have a few ties and stuff like that, but we're not going to go too crazy with that because we want to make sure that we have our room for stuff, room for our recipes and our pictures and things. Okay, so base page 1 is done. We've added on our stacked waterfall on top of our L pocket, and then when we turn the page in the book, we're going to have this file folder pocket Open it up, nice page, another nice pocket. Open it up, you'll have a cute little side pocket. You could put a journaling tag in there, and then you'll have another pocket here, and then a full page here for like a layout for your family photos, okay? So that is base page 1. I'm gonna get the stuff ready for base page 2, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to be working with our base page number 2. So this is the one that we talked about where it's going to have a string closure to close this pocket, but we'll do that when we do our pattern paper. Okay, so it has that on the front, and then on the back of it, it's plain. So we're going to add some things to the front first. And let's put this, actually, you need to add the seam binding closure first. So the first thing we're going to do is grab a couple pieces of seam binding. I cut about 16 inches because the pages are kind of wide and big. So the first thing we're going to do is on top of the base page on the left side, we're going to go ahead and put it here, and we're going to just center it in the middle here. And again, the center for our 7.5 inch pages is at 3 3/4. So I'm going to put some seam binding right here, and the pages that we're going to add are going to just go right directly on top of these, so that'll help secure this down. Okay, so one piece there, and then we're going to put some on the back of this page that's going to wrap around the front to all of this stuff. So we're just going to flip it over, and on the left side of this page, again, at the, excuse me, center point, which is 3 3/4, we'll add another piece of seam binding. Okay, and I'm using Olive from Country Craft Creations. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So let's get that out of the way. So when we get done with that, we're going to have a string closure here. This will all be wrapped over the top of everything we're going to add on. Okay, so we do have that, and we're going to put that off to the side. So that's the first thing we need to do. Okay, so then you're going to grab a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. All right, and you're going to, first, we're going to cut off this bottom 4.5 inch piece, okay? And that piece will end up being right here, okay? This is going to end up being like a folded tag that we're going to put on the page, okay? So we're going to cut that piece off first, which I just showed you, okay? Let's fold that so we can pretend it's gone. And then you're going to end up with a 7.5 by 12 inch piece. Then you're going to grab your bone folder, wherever I cleverly hid it from myself. So then you're going to have a 7.5 by 12 inch piece of paper left over, okay? You're going to cut that into a 6.5 inch piece, okay? So we're going to cut that side completely off. You will use your scoreboard and score a 1/2 inch on the 6.5 by 7.5 inch piece that you'll have left over, and then this piece here will measure 5.5 by 7.5, and you're going to put that in the scoreboard, and you're going to score it 1/2 inch on the top. It's going to be a top flap, and this will be a page, okay, on the side. And then again, the bottom piece you're going to put in your scoreboard, and you're going to, let me just show you on this one. So this is the bottom 4.5 piece you just cut off. You're going to score it at 1/2, and you're going to score it at 6 3/8, okay? So 1/2 and 6 3/8. So when you get done with all of that, this is what you're going to have. So you've cut that piece off, you've scored it. You've cut this piece off and scored it, and you've cut this piece off and you've scored it on the top, okay? So we'll take all these pieces off, and then I kind of drew this picture. We're going to put the top flap right in the middle of this page. We're going to put the little folded piece to the bottom of this page, okay? So let's actually, and you can put it in the middle too if you want. I think maybe that's what I might do. So we'll go ahead and miter and make our notches for adding onto the page. The reason why in the diagrams that I did not add like the miters on the sides of the pages on these is because you can actually use all of these pieces as pages in and of themselves if you wanted to, instead of, you know, adding them onto a page. So if in the future you want to use these diagrams and you know, kind of reconfigure them into your own album, you can. If you're going to add it to a spine in the album, you definitely don't want to, you know, miter them. But if you're going to add them onto a page, definitely you do. So hope that kind of makes sense. But we're going to add this on to our page. So this is going to go on the front of base page 2. Okay, we're going to start with, I'm going to throw my bone folder because I always have to throw something. We're going to start by putting the big page, the 6.5 by 7.5 inch page with our fold here. We're going to glue that right onto the page over the seam binding, but not into our score for our binding or our give space. Okay, so we're just going to add that right to the pocket on the front of this page. Okay. All right, like so. And it will help hold the seam binding down and secure it, because now our seam binding will be wrapped around cardstock instead of just pattern paper. Okay, so there's a method to my madness. There definitely is. Okay, this is going to go in the middle of that piece we just added. Okay, and if I use a white piece of paper just to show you, so there's the page we just added. Here's that top flat. We're going to add that right to the top, and we're just going to center that. And that I'm going to eyeball, but it'll have about 1/4 inch on either side. Okay, that flap will go there. Now again, I still can do this later if I feel like it. You can round your corners, use a decorative edge, whatever you want to do to the flap. Okay, so now we have the top flap added to that page, and then we have our little fold out. So this is going to go underneath that flap. You could either add it to the bottom, you could add it to the middle, whatever your pleasure is. I think I might just add it to the middle and just keep it kind of symmetrical. So I'm going to measure this page again. It's 7.5, and so the center will be 3 3/4 from the edge. And actually, I'm going to turn this around so I can see a little bit better. And I'm just going to put it to the edge. This is the left edge of your page. It's going to line up 2 1/4. Get it right to the edge there, like so. And then that page will flip out like that, and then like that. Okay, we got that all out of one 12 by 12 piece paper. Pretty cool, huh? And then that'll go like that. So let me take this out so that you can see what I'm doing. Then that's where our seam binding comes in, and it will tie over that whole thing and keep it nice and closed. So then when you untie it, you will have a flap here. You will have a flap here. And then this page will open up, have a blank page here, and then you have your string closure pocket here. Pretty cool. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add to the underside of that. All right. This one's going to be pretty easy. So let's get this off to the side for just a second. So we're still working on the front side of base page 2. And this is going to be really pretty easy. You're going to have a 12 by 12 piece of paper. Cut off the bottom 4.5 inches first. Okay. So that's going to go away, and you're going to have this piece extra. This is going to go in our make a mat and make tags pile. So then you'll have the piece up top, and we can go ahead and get rid of this so it's easier to see. So you're going to have a piece here at the top, And basically what you're going to do is you're going to trim it to, it's 7.5 tall by 11 3/4. So we're going to just trim a 1/4 inch off here. So you only want it to be 11 3/4 now. And then you're going to take your bone folder. We're going to score at half, at 4 3/4, and 8.5. Okay. Miter your 1/2 inch tab here, and you're going to end up with a piece that will look like that. Okay. Pretty simple on this one. And then we're going to take and fold and burnish. So we're going to have our little tab here. Okay, and then what we're going to do with this is we're going to add it to the page, but we're going to fold like so, and then back on itself. So we're accordion folding it like this, and then like this. Okay, so you have your tab here. That's going to glue to the page, and then it'll open like this, and then it'll open up like that. Okay, so base page. Here's the flap piece that we just added on. You're going to open that up. Here's where the string closure piece is going to be. This guy right here, okay, is going to be added to there. Okay, that's all we're going to do. Now, you can fold this in on itself if you want to and have it roll out, or you can accordion fold it. It doesn't matter either way, whatever suits your needs and your wants. And then this is just going to glue right here. Okay, to the back of that piece, like so. Okay, string closure here, accordion here, and that'll go out like that. Okay, and then there's your flaps here, and then this closes everything all together. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add a piece to the back. So basically, we're doing the same thing that we did on the base page 1, where we're going to do some scores, but then we're going to kind of cut some pieces apart. So basically, we're doing the same thing, except for instead of this piece folding in on itself and becoming pockets, it's going to become a double belly band. Okay, that's all we're doing differently with this, but you're going to get a different look out of the same scores, right? So first thing we're going to do is at the beginning, we're going to score at half all the way down and 7 all the way down. You will turn it. Binding pieces now at the bottom. You're going to score at half all the way down. Score at 8 all the way down. And then at the 8.5, just for cutting lines, we're going to score down just about to 1/2 inch or so before this score line. Okay, we're going to turn back to kind of our starting position. And we're going to score at 10.5 again, and you're going to score all the way down through to that little kind of marker score that we did. Okay, and then if you want to make a marker score here, then turn it completely upside down, and then again at this time at the 4.5 inch mark, we're going to score up. Okay, so this page is a little bit different size, but it's the same kind of concept as that page that we just did prior. I hope that makes sense. When you are done with that and you cut off this 1/2 inch mark, make tabs up here. Okay, you're going to cut these pieces out and make tabs. So these are going to become belly bands up here. This will be a pocket that goes to the back this time. Okay, the pocket will go to the back this time. So we're going to have a piece that looks like this. You're going to have this cute little extra piece that actually looks like that. Okay, so that's going to be extra. That's going to go in our make tags pile. We'll have the piece that's here. We're going to cut that completely out so that we can use it as a belly band. Okay, a double belly band. Okay, so let's put this in our extras pile. Let's grab this, get this out of the way. And we're going to fold and burnish. So like I said, the pocket is going to go to the back this time. And so we're going to fold our binding piece here. Okay. We'll fold our tabs up. So the binding is going to the back. Pocket's going to go to the back. And the pocket will go up. Okay, so this is the back of this little piece here. The pocket's going to go on the back this time. The belly bands will be on the front. All right. And glue that up. Okay. All right. So the front of this piece here is where the belly bands are going to go. So let's go ahead and we'll fold and burnish. And again, we're going to cover all of this with pattern paper later. I love taking these pages and cutting them and folding them strategically to, you know, create your pages. I just think this is fun to try to figure out, and I have I have a good time with it. My little math brain loves it. So then I'm just gonna center this belly band the bottom here, and it's going to go at 1 3/4 inches to the bottom, or to the 1 3/4 inches from the center. That's what I should have said. 1 3/4 inches to the center. Okay, and then we'll do this again. We'll go to the top. Okay, just lay that down. All right. And then your little belly band piece will just center right to that as well. So let's go ahead and we'll center that, and we'll put glue on one of those tabs. And this will go to 1 1/4 inches. No, 3/4. 3/4, because it's 1 1/4 inches, right? I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. It's 1.5 inches. So it goes to 3/4 inches from the center, okay? I need sleep. I haven't slept well. Of course, who am I kidding? I never sleep well. I never sleep well. All right. So this piece has 1 belly band, 2 belly bands, okay? And then you turn it over and you have the pocket here, okay? Grabbing the back of our base page, okay? So the front has all the flaps. Just make sure you got the right side, okay? And that is going to lay on the left side. And I'm going to just make sure. Okay. I told you this book was going to be big. We're only on the 2nd page. We still have 3 more to do. Okay. And then this goes right over the seam binding too, so that helps secure it as well. All right. And center that. There you go. All right. Back of the page, you got your belly bands here, okay? And then you open it up and make sure that's down. Ooh, pulled that up, didn't I? There we go. There. And then our pattern paper will cover that and cover the seams, and you'll have a nice pocket back there, and you'll have your belly band there. Okay? So that is base page 2. So I'm going to grab the stuff for base page 3, and I'll be right back. Base page 3 has a pocket here, and then you turn it over and it has a pocket here. So we're going to build onto the top pocket. There's 2 pieces that we're going to put on the front. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just create a simple pocket page. This is really quite simple. We're going to take a 12 by 12 piece of paper. We're going to score at 1/2 inch all the way down, and then at 7 all the way down, and then at 11.5 all the way down. And then we're going to turn it so that the binding piece is at the bottom, and you're going to make a score at 7 1.5 all the way down. Okay, then what you're going to do is we're going to make some notches. So we're going to have a bottom pocket on both sides. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this 1/2 inch score at the top out, notch it here, here and here, cut straight across here at this point, because this piece is going to be the binding piece. Now we'll trim it out later, but if you wanted to use this as a standalone page, you don't want to miter that 1/2 inch piece, okay? Because that's what binds the whole thing to a page, so, or to a spine. So we're going to just fold it. We're not going to put glue right here. We're just going to score it and cut it. So when you do that, you're going to have a piece that will look like this. Let me get that down. And I had some comments, a lot of comments that said that this was a really good way of showing you guys how to do this. So I'm glad that this is working for you. It's pretty easy. But we have these scores. Now I did need to cut this out, so I didn't do that. We'll do that. As a matter of fact, let's do that now, because I should have done that. So I'm just cutting that 1/2 inch out. Silly me, got carried away trying to prep it. Okay, this is what you should have. So this piece is cut out, notches, and then we're notched this because we're going to add it to the page. Okay, so then we're going to take this, get this out of the way, and we're going to fold and burnish. So here's the binding piece for the page, and then we're going to fold this up. And I already did this, but you want to do it real careful and real deliberate, and make sure, because this is just going to fold over, and that's going to create the pocket on both sides. Okay, then you'll have your little notches here, or your little tabs, and that is what's going to create the closure for the ends of the pockets. So those will fold to the inside. Okay, like so. Okay, so this will fold in, up, and then this folds back. Okay, so it creates a smaller page with a pocket on it. Okay, so fold and burnish, make sure everything's nice. And you might have to work it just a little bit, but that's okay. And then you're going to put glue. Like so. And glue those pocket edges down, and then that's pretty much the end of the page. It's pretty simple page here. Okay. Okay. So now this piece, let me double check here, because I want to make sure we do this correctly. Yeah, this page is going to go onto the base page first, onto the top of base page 3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the size of the pocket. Again, that's a 4-inch pocket. Okay, we're going to have to notch the tab to fit the pocket. So we're going to go to the bottom of the pocket, and I'm going to put it in my scoreboard, and I'm going to find my 4-inch mark and grab my pencil, and I'm going to put a little line on that binding tab, and then we're going to notch that out again to fit that pocket so that we make it so we don't lose any of our pocket space. Okay, so here's the top of my base page with the pocket, and we've notched it, and I'm dry fitting it just to make sure that it looks good, and I think it does. So then we could go ahead and just glue that down. Okay, just like that. So it goes to the left of the page. Your binding piece that's going to adhere to the spine is on the left. Okay, make sure that's nice and straight. And then we should have our pocket, the full length of the pocket, because we made that notch. All right, and then you have your little pocket here, and then your page opens up like that. All right, so let's put this to the side. We got one more piece we're going to add to the top of that. And this one is basically going to be a folded page. So this one, again, is a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And you're going to put it in your scoreboard. You're going to score at 1/2 all the way down and at 6 1/2 all the way down. We're going to turn it. So the binding is at the bottom. Score at 7 1/2 all the way down. Now this page here will have a pocket and then you'll have a flap. Okay. This piece will be cut out, but I do want to make a tab for this bottom pocket. All right. This bottom pocket will go to the front. Okay. So if you want to make a score so that you have a cut line, go at the 5-inch mark and then make a score line, and then that'll give you a cut line. Okay. But we don't need a tab at the bottom of this because it's going to be a flap. All right. When you are done and we notch everything and we cut this piece out, this is what you're going to have. And you'll have a piece that looks like this left over, mat tag pile. Okay. Page here. So let's get this out of the way. And let's fold. So the pocket will go to the front. All right, so I'm just going to fold that up. And the little tabs will go to the inside. Now remember, I'm using artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations. It's amazing cardstock. And you can actually go against the score lines and don't have to worry about this paper breaking. It's amazing paper. I rarely have problems with it doing that. If you're using a different type of paper for your base pages and all these add-ons, I would highly suggest you score the direction that you need to score, okay? I'm kind of going against some of my scores, but just a little disclaimer there. Okay, so that pocket, and then this page will flip to the back side. So here's my tab that we're going to use to adhere it, and this page is just going to flip to the back. Now again, if you want to add fancy things like corner rounding or edge punching or whatever you want to do to this edge, you can go right ahead and do that. This page, again, is going to fit, it's going to fit right on the top. So you're going to have another pocket page. So we're going to have to, because of this pocket, we're going to have to notch this again. So this pocket is 4 1/2. So you do have to look at that. It's 4 1/2. So at the bottom of this, we need to make a mark at 4 1/2 right there. Okay. Which happens to be the same height as that pocket. And we're going to notch that out to fit on top. And I'm cutting kind of a wide notch so I can make sure that it goes over the pocket nicely. And again, we're going to dry fit. So I'm going to just put that there, and it looks like it's good. We're getting a lot of practice with this this method of adding stuff on top of pockets, aren't we? It's pretty fun, I think. It makes a lot of more versatile things that you can do with your albums as you create. So this is still the front of base page 3. We've added this piece on, which is the double pocket with a little flap, right? Okay, and we're just adding this right on top of that. Okay, so you're going to have kind of this really nice flip page. Okay, so there we go. Okay, another flap. So this is why I'm calling this not only a recipe album, but also a photo album, and why I think you could use this for several Thanksgivings, because you have so much room. Okay, so there's the front of base page 3. So now we're going to do something to the back of this. Let's grab that piece, and this one's a fun pocket. I thought it was kind of fun. So first thing you're going to do is cut off the bottom 4 inches of this page. You don't need it. And that goes into, you guessed it, the 4-inch piece goes into our tag mat pile. All right. So then you're going to end up with a piece. Let's fold that so you can see it. That'll look like this. So this is 7.5 tall, or excuse me, 8 tall, 8 tall by 12. Okay, so it's 12 by 8. Put the 12 at the top, score it 1/2 at 6 and at 11.5. All right, then we're going to turn it. Base, or the tab is at the bottom, and we're going to do some scores for cutting purposes. Okay, so we're going to only go to the 6-inch mark here where we scored. So you're going to take 2.5, score it down to that. That's going to just give us a guide for cutting. At 5, go down to that score line and stop. That's just going to give us a guide for cutting. And then at the 7.5, you want to go all the way down. Okay, that's going to close these pockets. So, what you're going to do is, once you do that, you're going to cut this bottom 1/2-inch piece out and miter this. This is a tab for the bottom of our pocket, and then we'll miter all of these, okay? You're going to cut the score line here just to this midsection here, okay? When you get all of that done, you will have a piece that looks like this. So what this is going to do is, these will fold to the back, or excuse me, to the front. I'm sorry, to the front. And we're going to create pockets. These are going to be like split pockets, okay? So we're going to fold these all to the front. Let's get rid of this for a second. Okay, and they are all split, because then when you add your pattern paper, you're going to end up with 3 pockets, okay? So we're just going to fold that, okay? So let's start with the bottom pocket. We're going to make sure everything's nice and straight. We're going to make sure our tabs are folded in. Now I'm folding this to the front. You could fold it to the back too. It doesn't matter, whichever way you want. So I'm going to put some tape on that bottom tab, because I won't be able to once I glue it down. So I'm going to put some tape here on that bottom tab, and then fold that up, so that way when I put my glue down and then fold it over to the front of this piece, then I'll have that edge covered with my tape. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold that over, and I'm just going to just kind of put this all down at the same time. All right, so I'm going to just take that piece. Remember, we made all those slits, and I'm going to line that up at the bottom. Okay, and glue that down. Okay, pocket. This piece will fold over, and again, we have our little tabs so that the sides are secure. And might as well do this one while we're at it. Fold those tabs in. Do these one at a time here. You don't want them overlapping. You want them nice and straight, so just make sure they're not overlapping. But now what you'll have, once we glue this down, pocket here, right? And I'm going to use pattern paper to kind of go into these pockets so that they're really obvious that they are pockets. And then you could put all kinds of things in them, but you could have like shorter items here, a little bit longer items here, and then you could do like a full page thing up at the top, which I think is kind of fun. So that's what we're doing with this. Okay, just make sure they don't overlap and that everybody is nice and straight. Okay, all right, and then let's do this because I didn't do that. Okay, then what we're going to do with this is we're going to go to the back of our base page 3, okay, and this will glue right on top here, so it will open up like that. So I'm just going to put that to the edge like so. And once I get my pattern paper on there, we're going to have a split pocket that'll have 3 different pockets in this piece. Okay, so one here, and then you'll have one that will go all the way down. Okay, so you put a big tag in there secret recipe. You could fold like an 8.5 by 11 inch page for the recipe if you want it in there. Then that'll open up and then you have a pocket here. So that is base page 3. Let's get to base page 4. Base page 4 starts with this pocket here with the flap, and this is going to have a string closure. So we're going to do that after we get all this done, so don't worry about that right yet. And then the back of it is plain. So let's talk about what we're going to put on the front of this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our seam binding, because we do need to put some seam binding down. I am going to put some seam binding under this flap on top of the pocket. It will wrap around, it will get covered with pattern paper. So we need to get our ruler, and again we're going to find our 3 3/4 inch mark, and it's just going to go just below that pocket, but it will be covered up. Everything will be covered up just great. All right, so I do have this beautiful natural seam binding. So that's going to go off to the edge here. Okay. And then we're going to turn the page over. And this is we're going to build on top of this pocket again. So this is going to wrap around the whole thing. We're going to turn this over and we're going to do it again on this side. All right. We have string closures, we have seam binding closures, we have a magnet closure. It's kind of fun. Kind of fun. I hope you're enjoying this. I really hope you're enjoying this, because I really love this album. And I'm glad I was able to kind of update it and revise it a little bit. And so that'll go to the back. That wasn't a very good job. There we go. That's more better. And then let's cut that off, because that's going to bug me. All right, so we have that piece. This is going to get covered up by pattern paper, so it's all good. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do this just so it doesn't fray a little bit, just because that edge was so funky. All right, so this is going to be a split pocket. So the first thing you're going to do is cut off the bottom 3.5 inches. Now this one here, we're going to cut into 2 3.25 by 5.5 inch tags for these 2 pockets that we're going to create. Okay, so we can go ahead and let's just actually do that now. So 3.25 by 5.5, 5.5, 3.25, 5.5, 3.25. Okay. And then I will grab my tag punch and we'll just make those into tags. Okay. This is a punch I've had in my stash for years and years and years, and it does a really cute little 1/2 inch thing, and I don't even think it has a name on it. Oh, Fiskars. There it is. It's a Fiskars. I've had it forever. Forever. All right. So, base page has our seam binding. We have our tags made. So, we've cut that piece completely off. So, let's fold that and see what we got. All right. So, we've added our seam binding. Okay. So, let's get rid of that for a second. So, this will adhere to the left of that page, okay, on the top. So you're going to put it in your scoreboard. You're going to score at half. This is going to be 8.5 by 12. So you score at half on the 12 at 7. Then we'll turn it. We'll score at half and at 8. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll cut off this top 1/2 inch right here and then notch it so we have tabs here. Cut off this bottom 1/2 inch all the way across, notch it so that we have a tab here to create the pocket. And then you see these little loop-de-loops here. That's my envelope punch board, okay? So once I did that, I had a piece that looks like this. And then what I did was I took my envelope punch board and I lined up the scores for the tabs, and I put the score like right in the middle, the center, and I punched it, and then I angled it to make the pocket, okay? And then I centered it, and when you center this page with the tags, or with the tabs still folded in, it's like 4 1/4. So I lined it up at 4 1/4, punched the middle piece, okay? The tab here, the center piece there, put it in the middle, punch it, and then you'll have something that looks like this, but then I took my scissors and I just angled it, okay? So that's how I created that. So let's put this off to the side. Put this off to the side. And we'll fold and burnish all of our pieces. So we've got our binding 1/2 inch here. Okay. Our pocket's going to fold to the back. All right. So I folded my 1/2 inch binding piece, and then my pocket's going to go back to here. So I'm just going to fold that to the back of this piece. Okay. And it's the back because now the binding piece is there. The binding piece will go to the left. All right. So the back, the binding piece will be to the right. And I'm going to fold those up and burnish those. So then what you're going to do is we're going to find this middle line here is going to be glue. Okay. So however it's easier for you to kind of visualize a glue line, I'm just going to kind of try to line that up to where this notch is in the middle of my scoreboard. I'm going to put my ruler just for a little bit of a guide, and I'm just going to put a little line of glue like right there, right down the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to do my tabs, can't talk, like so. Okay, this is going to go to the back, so it'll look like this, and then I'm just going to glue that down. So that's going to kind of create 2 pockets. Now, if you do not want to make 2 pockets, you don't have to, okay? And there you have it. Our tags will fit right in these pockets, like so, okay? I'm going to take those out just to make sure they don't get glued in, so just in case. And I want to make sure that I keep that one little line in the middle, okay? So that is that page. And this is going to go on top of here, and we are going to have to notch it for the pocket. So our pocket, if we fold this down, where we just added our seam binding, it's at 4 1/4. So bottom of that page, okay, where's my pencil? 4 1/4 right there. Okay, and we'll grab my scissors. And we'll glue that down after we make sure we dry fit and it works. So let's fold that back. Let's put that on top. It looks like I did it pretty good. Okay, pretty simple page. A variation of what we have done. It's pretty fun. Try and figure out new things to do with these pages. All right. So I'm going to glue this down. I'm making sure that my flap is up because the flap actually has to go over this or under this. And I don't want to glue it down, right? So this goes down like that. So I want to make sure that I don't glue that down. Okay, so again, that's going to help secure the seam binding that will wrap around like so. Okay. Ta-da! So that page is done. That part is done. Let's go to the second piece that's going to go on the front here. And this one is going to be, again, really simple. So this piece here is going to go to the front. So it's going to be on top of that. And basically it's going to be, as you can see right here, kind of just folded in on itself. So the first thing you're going to want to do with this, let's get this one out of the way, is to cut off the 4.5-inch piece at the bottom. Okay. And we're going to make 3 pages again, like we did before. You'll end up having a 6.5 by 7.5 inch piece, a 5.5 by 7.5 inch piece, and a 4.5 by 7.5 inch piece. And they'll all be scored on the long side. Okay. And then this part here will be extra. Okay. So once you get it done, you'll have that piece here. You'll have this piece here. You'll have this piece here. And then this piece will be cut out. Okay. Tag and mat. Pile. Okay. We're not wasting anything on this book. We are not wasting anything. So, I did not do my notch or my miters. So let's do that. Miter, burnish. Do that. Okay. One more. Hope you're liking this. I know this is kind of like, this is a little bit different. So, you know, I probably should have said this before, but if you, you know, watch these videos first and kind of go down and print the pictures out of these diagrams. And then you go ahead and go with the diagram and watch the video, make some notes. Then when you go to make it, it will kind of be a little bit easier. That's what I do when I watch others' tutorials, is I kind of watch them and I don't usually work at the same time because I'm trying to kind of like make notes and make sure I understand what's going on here. Okay, so the largest, widest page will eventually be 6 inches by 7.5. Okay, so we have our tab. So that'll go down here. We're going to take the next largest piece, which will be 5 with our tab here. And we're going to glue that to the right side. Here and here. Make sure that's nice and straight. Okay. And we'll open that up. Okay. So you have a flip out like that. And then, oops, I didn't get that nice and straight, did I? I'll move that down just a little bit. Good gravy, Michelle. All right. All right. So it flips out like that. And then you're going to have this piece here, which is going to go to the inside here. And then that will go out again. So, okay, so this is going on the other side of that page. So that'll go out like that. Okay, and then it just kind of rolls up on itself, like so. You have your binding tab here to put on top of this piece with our double pocket that we just made, okay? That will go right here. So. Okay, that goes right on the top, on the front of base page 4. Okay, so we just put 2 add-ons on the front. So you'll have the tie that goes around to the front. This piece will flip out like that. It'll open. Nice big space here for a beautiful layout. And then it'll open. You'll have your 2 pockets. Okay, little tags here and here. Okay, and then this will be a string closure eventually, a pocket, okay? And that all closes up, and then we will turn our page, our base page 4, and work on the back now. Yeah, I'm just making sure what I did. Because, you know, after a while, even I am like, I need to just double check. Okay. So we have this piece. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of scoring and a little bit of cutting. Okay. So the first thing that I did on this one is I just put the 12 by 12 in my scoreboard and I scored it 1/2. and I scored at 7. Okay. And then that's all the scoring that you have to do. And then I put it in my cutter and I cut it at 6.5. So I had a 6.5 inch by 12 inch piece. And then I had a 5.5 by 12 inch piece. They're already pre-scored when you do them that way, and you will have 4 different pages. So you will have this page, and you will have this page, and you will have this page, and you will have that page, okay? 2 scores, 2 cuts, 4 pages. All right, let's build this guy. So the biggest one is going to be the base of this particular flip. So let's get this out of the way. I'm going to put this to the side. And we're going to fold our little binding piece here. Okay, that's going to be what we're going to build on. So that's the biggest piece. So now that I've folded that tab, it's 6 by 7.5. Okay, so then grab the next biggest piece, which if we fold our tab, is 5 by 7.5, okay? And this is going to adhere to the right side of this page. So it's going to open like this, okay? And you can see that a lot of this stuff, you know, you can put this together in so many different combinations. It's ridiculous. It's kind of fun. Each of these add-ons and pages and stuff that I'm doing, if you haven't already noticed, are out of one 12 by 12 piece paper. So this book does take a lot. It takes, like, just for the pages alone, it takes 20 pieces. That's why this is such a big project. But it's so much fun. Okay, so we have that. So here's the binding piece. This is what's going to add to our base page. We're going to have that flip. So turn this piece over, okay? And then we're going to do like we did before. We're going to have a top piece, and then we're going to have a side piece. Okay, so fold and burnish. So the longer piece after you fold and burnish will be 4.5 by 6. That's going to go on the top. Okay, so we are going to center it. And I think, yeah, let's get my centering ruler. So centering ruler, it's a 6-inch page, and this is going to center at 2 1/4 from the sides there, or from the center. Okay, so that's centered right in the middle of the top of that page, right? And then we'll flip that up. This will go underneath it, or on top of it, however you prefer. Doesn't really matter. I am just doing it at the bottom, okay? This one I'm going to just put down at the bottom about a 1/2 inch from the bottom, okay? So I'm not centering this one. Make it a little bit different. So I'm just using my ruler on my grid here, and about a 1/2 inch from the bottom, okay? Okay, so that'll go like that, and that'll go like that. Okay, so that's that assembly. So you get all that from one 12 by 12 piece of paper. Isn't that cool? I think that's so cool. I love this stuff. I just love this stuff. All right, getting the most out of your stuff. So, put the ruler out of the way for a second. Get your base page, number 4. This is the back. It's plain. You should have a seam binding here. We are going to just add this to the left side of that page, okay? So we don't have to worry about any pockets, no notching, right? There's no pockets there. And I'm gonna make sure my seam binding is straight. And then I'm gonna lay that down to the edge, okay? There we go. Make sure it doesn't slip. Okay. Over the seam binding, that's going to help secure it, right? Okay, So on this page, now that we're all done, so we'll have it tied to the front, and that's going to hold this together. So you have your kind of tri-fold there. It opens. You have a beautiful layout spot. It opens again. You have your double pockets, and then you have your string closure pocket here. And then that closes. That's the front. And then you turn the page, and then you have a fold out here, and then it opens up. You have a flap and then another flap. Okay. And you can close it either way you want. And then you have your nice page here. Okay. So there is that. So that is base page 4. Let's get base page 5 done. And then all of our pages are basically built. And then we'll come back in another tutorial and we will put it all together and do some pattern paper stuff and all that. So I'll be right back. Let me get base page 5 ready. Okay, base page 5 looks like this. So you have your binding and your give space here. You have this little flap, you have this little pocket here, and you turn it over and it's blank back here. So what we're going to do is do some add-ons to the front and the back again. So on this one, grab your 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. And what you're going to do is you're going to, I got kind of instructions right down here. Score at the 7-inch line first. So score at the 7-inch line first, okay? Then what you're going to do is turn your page. So we're going to turn it so that we're turning it counterclockwise, okay? And you're going to score. Here's the score line we just made. You're going to score at 3 1/4 down to that score line only, and at 8 3/4 down to that score line only, okay? So you have, we've done the score here, and we've done the score here and the score here, okay? So then you're going to turn it again this way, and this center score line here, that 7-inch that we did already, you're going to score at 2 1/4 and at 10. And those are just cut lines to cut these pieces out. These are extra, okay? We're going to keep all of these pieces, okay? So basically what we're going to do is we're going to make a few cuts. We're going to cut the score line here only to that score line because these are going to fold over and make a little flat pocket. These are going to be cut out, this piece and this piece. When you get done with this, it's going to look like this, okay? So you're going to have your tab here. Oh, I forgot to tell you that. So we do need to do a 1/2-inch score in between here. So if you want to do a 1/2-inch score all the way down, you can, but we do need a 1/2-inch score here on this spine. If you want to wait till you cut those out so that you don't have a score line here and you can save that paper, then you can just put it back in your scoreboard and score at 1/2 inch, okay? So you'll have a piece that looks like this, and these will fold. You can see that I did the slits to those score lines, okay? So what this is going to do is this is going to fold to the front like so. This piece is going to fold up like so. And this piece is going to fold down like so. Now what I think I want to do, I don't know if I want to make this a pocket or not. You can make it a pocket if you want to. You can glue the sides, which will take some of the pocket piece, or you can leave it and it can be kind of like a photo mat kind of opportunity. And we're going to do a string closure here, so I'm not going to do anything else with it yet. I think what I'm going to do is make it just a flap so that it'll open up, and then we can have some photo mat opportunities in here. So I think I'm going to just leave it for now, but if you want to, you can glue this bottom piece. I'll open it so you can see it better. You can glue that bottom piece up and create another pocket, okay? But I think what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to make it a flap. And then it'll fold out like this, and you have more opportunity here and here for photo mats, okay? So let's get this piece out of the way for just a second, and we'll fold our 1/2-inch mark here because that's going to glue to the page, okay? And this is going to go directly onto our page. So we have our base page 5 here. Okay, we have the piece we just made. That's going to glue right to the top just like that. All right. And, you know, if you want to, you can fold it to the other side as well. you know, like I said, this is a customizable album for sure. I think it's one of the most customizable kind of things you can actually create. And this goes to the left side. Okay, so we have our binding piece for our base page there. We just made this particular piece. Make sure it's burnished well. We're almost done with the pages, guys. All right, so we'll have our little flap here. It will have a string closure. Okay, so I think I'm going to make it into that. Then you'll have that and that. Then you'll open it. You'll have a nice page here. You're going to have a flap here. And then you'll have a little pocket here. Okay? So that's the front of base page 5. So let's look at the back of base page 5. I have a seam binding closure. And, yep, I remember now. Okay, so 2 more pieces of seam binding. Okay? That is a brown. That is absolutely gorgeous. Let's get that out of the way because it's going to flop open in my way. All right, so we're going to do another kind of a quick pocket. This is just a different style. So you're going to have a 12 by 12 piece of paper. You're going to score at 1/2 all the way down, at 6 all the way down, at 11.5 all the way down. Okay, then we're going to turn it and we're going to score at 7.5. Okay, now if you want to make guidelines to cut your tabs, go to 8 and go to 1/2 inch before this score line. Okay, and then turn it again. And then you can go a 1/2 inch past here, so at the 5.5 inch line, and make a score, and that'll just give you some cut lines. Okay, so then you're going to have a piece that looks like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold the pockets, and then this one's going to be like a full-size page pocket. And then you can see here I used a big circle to kind of denote where you could use a circle punch to punch a notch that would make things easier to get in and out of. So you can use any kind of punch you want. You can use your envelope punch board. You can not punch it. You can do a big circle like that, whatever you want. So that's what that pocket's going to look like. So when you get done cutting it, and you can see I didn't do the circle punch yet. And because of the way this page is and the way my punches are, I can go ahead and do that later. So I might just do that later. But this is where that circle will go. Okay, so notch, and then here is the piece that notches up to create the pockets. Okay, so on the front is going to be the bottom horizontal pocket, and this one's going to fold to the back. So let's get this out of the way for just a sec. We'll fold and burnish all of our things. Oh, and this is the leftover piece. Matte tag pile. we got a few of those. You could also even make them into more flaps if you want. You can add pockets in different places because we do have a lot of open places. Because I'm designing this as also a photo album, I left a lot of pages kind of blank. And that's one of the reasons why I added so many flaps too. So you could add the pictures. And I think, honestly, I'm really going to use this as I was thinking about, and I told you earlier, as a 5-year kind of Thanksgiving photo album. I think that would be absolutely amazing. And then I like to make kind of the same things, but every once in a while, you know, I shake it up with new recipes, or if someone's going to bring something that's a new recipe, then, you know, maybe I'll ask them for it. How's that, right? So there you go. That's going to fold to the back. And then we're going to fold these up and create a pocket. Now, this is going to be a little hard to do with the tape, so I'm going to have to do it before I add the glue, okay? So I'm going to put glue and tape on the bottom. This is on the back of this little add-on. So give me a little strip of tape, and I'm going to put it on first. Nice and straight. Fold that up, and then we'll fold that. Actually, we'll put the glue on. Okay, that's the bottom. And I'm going to kind of fold that over, glue here. Okay, and then that will fold over carefully. Don't glue your tab in there. Okay, so there's our pocket. So on this one here on the front, you have a pocket here. And then when you turn it over, you have a pocket up here. And then this, you can cut a circle notch here if you want. And then, you know, you also could cut it here too if you want and make this a 2-pocket page and then keep this as a blank, like photo map page. All right, so this is going to go on the back of your album. But first, what we have to do is add our seam binding. So we're going to center and do our seam binding on both sides because they're going to wrap around those next 2 pieces. So these are going to be on the back of base page 5. Okay, so I'm centering it at 3 3/4. Okay, we'll do it here as well because it's going to go on both sides. And then the pieces will go on top, help secure our seam binding so that we have cardstock actually helping to, you know, hold them. All right, so there and here. Okay, so this piece that we just made with the pocket on the front, the bottom pocket is going to go on the left side. Like so. Excuse me. I'm still getting over this crud. It's ridiculous. I feel terrible. To tell you the honest truth. Okay, so this is the back of page 5, and you have your flap here, and you'll have your top pocket here, and your front pocket here. Okay, so let's make the piece that goes on this side, and then we are done making our base pages. Last but definitely not least is this page. So this is going to be a cute little pocket to put underneath the pocket we just made. So the first thing you're going to do is cut off the bottom 3.5 inches. That is going to go in your tag mat pile. So you're going to end up with a piece that's 8.5 by 12. Okay, and then let me fold that up so that you can see we have an 8.5 by 12 inch piece. So we're going to do some scoring and some cutting, and this is just the way that my brain works, so bear with me. I put it in the scoreboard at 8.5 by 12. I scored at 1/2, at 6.5. That's going to be my cut line. At 7, and then turn it, score at 1/2, and at 8. Okay, so this is just how my brain works. Okay, I know there's probably different ways to do it, but this is how I did it. So then I cut the paper so that one side was 6.5 and then one side was 5.5. Okay, so you have a piece that's 5.5 by 8.5, and then you have a piece that's 6.5 by 8.5. What you're going to do with the 6.5 inch piece is we're going to cut the top 2 tabs off, the top 2 1/2 inch tabs. Leave the one here because that's going to be our binding piece. Okay, then on this piece you're going to notch it, okay, for a pocket, for a side pocket. Okay, so when you get that done, you will have a piece that looks like this and a piece that looks like this. Okay, so this is just how my brain's working, and this is how I kind of diagrammed it out to try to use the paper. So anyway, that's how I did it. Okay, so once you do that, I know there's a different way to do it, but I don't want to, this is how I did it. So, so we have our piece here. We're going to fold and burnish that 1/2 inch tab. You will have a page, the tab's folded underneath. It will be 6 by 7.5. Okay, and then you have your tab. And then this pocket here, we're going to just make a full size side pocket here, like so. Okay, base page, the pocket is going to go on this side. Okay, so it will open to the center. Here's the tab for the page underneath, and then the pocket will go here. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on here first. Then I'm going to do tape over the tab so that all of our little tags and recipe cards and photos and, you know, little journaling and all that slips in and out nice and easy. Okay. Then we're going to put glue on the top and the bottom. You can notch edges. Hey guys, so my video cut out on me because I used up all my storage, so I had to dump some stuff. But anyway, we did finish on the back of the base page 5. So we added this pocket, and then the pocket that we were working on, making this side pocket, I just adhered it over top of the seam binding on the right side on the back of page 5. So it folds in first and this folds in second. You could do it the other way. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. And then it ties closed on the back of page 5. So now I'm done with the end of my video. So hopefully I need to free up some space. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to make another guide for you, and I will have that available in the description down below so you can watch this. But this is the back of, or the front and the back of base page 5. So it's all done. So when we come back, we'll put it all together, do some string closures and do some pattern papers and talk about how I kind of did the album. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Stay crafty, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.